get started on our back. So bring the soles of your feet to touch. Let your knees splay out nice and wide. Come to lay on your backs, finding Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe one hand comes to your belly, one hand comes to your heart. Starting to feel the rise and fall of your chest. The lift and lower of your belly. Maybe you start to close your eyes. Letting your body feel heavy on your mat. Start to arrive in whatever shape you've chosen. And then just start to take notice of your breath. Noticing how when we bring our attention to the breath, it naturally becomes deeper and wider and longer. We'll work to build the breath here together. Take a big inhale through your nose, filling from your low belly, the full capacity of your lungs, holding at the top. And then big open mouth exhale, sigh it out, let it all go. One more just like that. Big inhale through your nose, filling through your low belly, the full capacity of your lungs. And then exhale as you let it go, sigh it out. This time even bigger inhale through your nose, filling from your low belly, the full capacity of your lungs, holding at the top. And then sealing your lips and exhale as you press it back out your nose. This is just tapping into our Ujjayi breath. Big inhale through your nose. Audible exhale as you press it back out through your nose, keeping your mouth sealed. Continuing at the pace of your own body, at the pace of your breath. Before we start to bring movement into our practice, I offer you this time, this space to set an intention for your class. A dedication, something that you can come back to. Bringing that to the forefront of your mind. We'll seal it here with one last communal breath. Take a big inhale through your nose, fully inflate. And then Ujjayi exhale back out through your nose as you let it go. Start to draw your knees in towards one another like pages of a book, and then hugging them in towards your chest, wrapping your arms around your shins. Start to rock yourself the length of your spine, forward and back, until you cross your ankles, engage some momentum. Start to plant your palms out in front of you and step your knees back. Find that strong tabletop pose. Start here by bending through your elbows, swaying through your hips. Take a full body scan from the crown of your head down through to your tail. Noticing any spaces of tightness or tension. Working to release, to soften, to let them go. Then start to come back through the center, press the mat away, gazes in between your thumbs, gripping through all 10 fingertips, puffing up the space in between your shoulder blades. Bringing your attention down to your belly, navel draws in towards your spine. This is our Uddiyana Bandha core lock. Tuck your tailbone slightly under. Inhale as you drop your belly, work to lift your gaze, tailbone tips up, finding that cow belly pose. Exhale as you press the mat away, arch through your spine, navel draws in, then chin comes to chest as you gaze in between your thighs for this cat back. Inhale as you draw your chest forward and through, drop your belly, lift your gaze, cow belly pose. Exhale, arch through your spine, navel draws in, chin to chest, gazing in between your thighs, find that cat back. Take 3 more rounds at the pace and measure of your own breath. Use your inhales to stretch the front line of your body and your exhales to stretch the back line. Letting this movement start at your tailbone and slowly and intentionally work its way up your spine. Maybe coming onto your fingertips, finding a bit of extra height, or closing your eyes, tapping into balance. Then start to come back through to center, shoulders stack over wrists, hips over knees, and one by one, step it back. We'll meet in plank. Dropping your hips in line with your shoulders and charging out through your heels. Inhale, slight shift forward. Exhale, slight shift back, press out through your heels. Inhale, slight shift forward, protract your shoulders beyond your wrists. Exhale, slight shift back, press through your heels. This time, inhale, slight shift forward. Exhale as you drop down onto your knees. Let your elbows shave your ribs as you lower down halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, drop your hips, lift your chest forward and through. Exhale as you stay here, bend your right knee, gaze over your right shoulder, pointing through your toes, take this quad stretch. Inhale, come back through the center, lift your gaze, square shoulders. Exhale, bend your left knee, gaze over your left shoulder, take that quad stretch as you point through your left toes. Exhale as you come back through the center. Start to tuck your toes under and send your hips up and back, finding this first downward facing dog. Pedaling through your feet, pedaling through your knees, coming onto your toes, awakening your hamstrings. Then work to press your chest towards your thighs, draw your tailbone towards the sky. Pressing equal weight into your right and left palms. Now draw the inside of your elbows towards the front of the rim and relax your shoulders away from your back. Head and neck hangs heavy, gazes in between your thighs. Inhale as you rise up onto your tippy toes. In this round, exhale, release your heels 1 inch closer to the mat. It doesn't matter if they touch. This time, rise up onto your tiptoes, take a big inhale. Exhale as you bend at your knees, gaze forward, just step your feet behind your wrists. We'll meet in this first passive fold. Interlacing opposite elbow to opposite hand, start to sway back and forth. Bending into your knees. Straightening out through your legs if you want to tap into your hamstrings or finding a deep bend in your knees. Letting your torso drape over your thighs. Finding more of a lower back release. Maybe switching up the grip here, bringing opposite elbow to opposite hand. Continue to let the head and neck hang heavy, releasing any tension. Releasing any bind you may have. Fingertips meet the mat, toe heel your feet into touch. And on one long inhale, come to standing, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Exhale as we meet at the top of the mat, shrug your shoulders down your back, palms face forward. Inhale, Tadasana, mountain pose, biceps frame your ears, hold here and breathe. Ground down through the four corners of your feet, pressing into your big toes so your inner arches lift. Now squeeze your thighs together, draw your tailbone towards the ground. Navel draws in towards your spine. Or to reach through your fingertips and then relax your shoulders away from your ears, pinky spiral inwards, finding this activated mountain pose. Take another big inhale here, lift your gaze past your fingertips. Exhale, press your palms together, seal it in, Samastitihi, feel your back engaged. Inhale as you rise back up, find mountain pose. Exhale as you drop your right arm down your right leg, reaching over to the right side of the room with those left fingertips, rooting in the knife edge of that left foot as you reach. Working to stack left shoulder on top of your right, gazes up and under that left armpit. Inhale as you use your obliques to rise back through the center, biceps frame your ears. Exhale, drop your left arm down your left leg as you reach with your right fingertips. Right bicep frames your ear, draw that right shoulder back in space, working to press into the knife edge of that right foot. Inhale, come back through the center, biceps frame your ears, find mountain pose, maybe take a baby back bend as you press your hip bones forward. Lift your gaze, lift your chest. Exhale, navel draws in, hinging at your hips over straight legs or bent knees, forward standing fold. Inhale, hands come to your shins or thighs, hold here and breathe. Work to shift the weight into your toes so your hips stack on top of your ankles. Press your palms into your shins back into your palms to draw the crown of your head forward. Shoulder blades draw back, find that long, flat spine. Keeping this axial extension, take a big inhale. Exhale, palms plant, feet step back, we meet in plank. This time, inhale, slight shift forward. Exhale, lower down halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows pinned in. Inhale as you draw your chest forward and through, lift your gaze. Exhale as your toes tuck, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, send your right leg high, flexing through your toes. Drawing that right hip in line with your left as you squeeze through the glute. Exhale, bend your right knee, stack right hip on top of your left, gazes up and under that right armpit, work to draw your right armpit down in line with your left so they square towards the mat. Inhale, send that right leg long behind you, flex the toes. Exhale, start to draw your right knee down the midline, arch through your spine, knee comes to nose. And then step that right foot in between your hands. Staying on the ball mount of the back left toes, arms come back behind you as your triceps catch. Finding this strong lightning bolt pose, relax your shoulders down your back, pinkies draw in towards one another, activating your triceps, palms face down. Then inhale, pivot and plant your left heel, heel to arch alignment in your feet as you spin open, finding warrior two. Deep bend in that right knee, now draw it towards the pinky toe side edge of your foot to open up through your front hip. Exhale, start to drop your left arm down your left leg as you straighten out through that right leg. Inhale, right bicep draws by your ear, finding reverse triangle, reaching with those right fingertips towards the back of the room. Exhale, hands come to a strong T, slight shift forward, tipping your torso forward, and then dip in for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Right hand to the inside of that right shin, press the back of the palm into your shin to spiral your chest forward. Inhale as you lift your gaze, reaching with those left fingertips. Exhale, bring a bend to that left knee, left elbow meets left, right elbow meets right knee. Inhale, left bicep swims by your ear, finding extended side angle, working to draw that left shoulder on top of your right. Exhale, left fingertips plant inside your right foot. Pivot on your back left toes. Inhale, reach that right arm high, finding dragonfly twist, stacking shoulders and rest. Maintaining a deep bend to your right knee as you press out through your left heel, twisting from your low core. Exhale, right hand plants outside your right foot. Press equal weight into the both palms and then step that right foot back to meet the left. Inhale, slight shift forward. Exhale, lowers you down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, chest comes forward and through, lift your gaze. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift up and back, finding downward facing dog. Left side, inhale, reach that left leg high, flexing the toes, squeezing your left glute. Exhale, bend your left knee, stack left hip on top of right, gazes up and under that left armpit. Work to draw the left armpit square towards the mat with the right. Inhale, send that left leg long behind you, flex the toes. Exhale, draw your left knee down the midline, arch through your spine. Then step your foot in between your hands. Staying on the ball mount of that back right foot, arms come back behind you as your triceps catch. Finding this lightning bolt pose, actively draw left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale opens you up, pivot and plant that right heel, heel to arch alignment in your feet. Hands come back to that strong T, warrior two. Exhale, drop your right arm down your right leg as you start to straighten out through that left leg, left bicep meets your ear. Reverse triangle, reaching with those left fingertips. Exhale, hands come to a strong T, tip your torso slightly forward, and then dip in for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Inhale, lift your gaze past your right fingertips, maybe floating off those left fingertips. Exhale, bring a bend to that left knee, left elbow meets left knee. Inhale, right bicep swims by your ear, finding extended side angle, working to stack shoulders. Exhale, right fingertips plant inside your left foot. Pivot on your back right toes, heel spins up. Inhale, reach that left arm high, stacking shoulders and wrists. Pressing out through your right heel, deep bend to your left knee as you twist from your low core. Exhale, left hand plants outside your left foot. Work to root down through the palms and then step the left foot back to meet the right. Inhale, shift it forward, protract your shoulders beyond your wrists. Exhale as you lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows pinned in. Inhale, draw your chest forward and through, lift your gaze, back bending. Exhale, toes tuck, hips left, downward facing dog. Taking 2 more rounds of this Sun A. This flow starts at the top of the mat, working through right and left sides. And then whenever you've finished, meeting in a child's pose or any other restorative pose you need. Taking 5 breaths to reset the body, reconnect with the breath. Once you've made it through those 2 flows, in your back in your child's pose, crawling your fingertips towards the front of the room, sinking your hips back towards your heels. If your forehead reaches the mat, maybe start to rock it side to side. And then coming back through to center, rooting down, finding stillness. And then shifting weight into your palms, we'll come back through to that tabletop pose. Shoulders stack over wrists, hips stack over knees. Or just sway through the hips, bending through your elbows. And then inhale as you tuck your toes under. Exhale, pressing into your palms, pressing into your toes. Lift your knees 1 to 3 inches off the mat. We're going to hover those knees, navel draws in, activating your Uddiyana Bandha, that core lock. Take three full rounds of breath. Inhales through your nose. And exhales back out through your nose. 2 more just like that. Inhale as you fill up. Exhale as you let it go. Big inhale, fill up. Exhale, sigh it out. This time, big inhale. Exhale as you straighten out through your legs and send your hips up and back, finding that downward facing dog. We'll start to build our sun B here together. This flow starts at the top of the mat. Inhale to rise on your tippy toes. Exhale as you bend at your knees, gaze forward, travel in between your hands, big toes come to touch. Inhale, halfway lift, long flat spine, draw your shoulder blades back, crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold in a little bit deeper, take the hamstring stretch. Start to bend at your knees, sink your seat, inhale, find chair as you rise up. Bring the back of your right palm to your low back. Draw your belly in, pressing your low back into your palm, taking any sway out. Then replace your biceps by your ears. Take a big inhale here, finding axial extension through your spine. Exhale, arms come back behind you as your triceps catch, finding those airplane arms. Pinkies draw in as your shoulder blades draw down your back. Inhale, rise up onto your tippy toes, finding balance, activating your calves. And then exhale, slowly start to lower your sits bones onto your heels. Squeeze your thighs, find balance, and then inhale, work to rise, finding toes squat. Exhale, arms come out in front of you, navel draws in, slowly start to lower onto your seat. Inhale, find Navasana, boat pose. Maybe your feet stay on the mat. Maybe you work to rise, lifting one foot. Maybe you work to rise, lifting the other. Maybe you start to straighten out through your legs, pointing through your toes. Wherever you're at, take a big inhale, draw your chest forward, relax your shoulder blades down your back. Exhale as you lower down halfway, eyes in line with your toes. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, lowers you down, eyes in line with toes. Inhale as you rise up. Last one, exhale, lower, eyes in line with toes. Inhale as you rise up. Exhale, cross your ankles. Plant your hands, step or shoot your feet back, find plank. Inhale, slight shift forward. Exhale, lower down halfway, elbows pinned in. Inhale, find up dog or cobra, lift your gaze, take that back bend. Exhale as your toes tuck, navel draws in, finding downward facing dog. Right side, inhale, reach your right leg high, flexing your toes. Exhale, draw your right knee down the midline, arching through your spine, then step your right foot in between your hands. Staying on the ball mount of that back left foot, work to float the fingers, draw your shoulder blades back. And then inhale, finding crescent lunge, biceps frame your ears, rise up. Actively drawing right hip back, left hip forward. Exhale, open arm twist to the right, right fingertips go back, left fingertips go forward. Gazing past that right hand. Inhale, slight shift forward, reaching with your left fingertips. And then exhale, right hand binds your left thigh back behind you. Inhale, left bicep swims by your ear, finding reverse revolved crescent lunge, gazes past that right shoulder. Exhale, look forward, reaching with those left fingertips, start to shift weight into your right foot. Inhale, finding flying warrior, straightening out through both legs. Working to squeeze that left glute to lift it in line with your right. Exhale, start to kick that left leg out in front of you, stacking shoulders over wrist. Right hand binds your left big toe or your left knee. Inhale, find dancing Shiva, facing the back of the room. Gazing past those left fingertips, work to find balance. Exhale, release that bind. Right fingertips meet the upper right hand corner of the mat. Working to stack shoulders and wrists as we come into our half moon pose. Squeezing that left glute so it stacks on top of your right. Maybe you start to reach with those left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Maybe floating off those right fingertips. Take another big inhale here. Exhale, bring a bend to your right knee. Step your left toes back. Sink it nice and low. Find Buddha. Inhale, straight arms, straight legs. Get nice and big. Star pose. Exhale, forward standing fold, hinging at your hips. Toes turn slightly in. Letting your head and neck hang heavy. Taking a few breaths here. Maybe you bend through the knees. Shift your weight right and left. And then inhale as you start to rise up, halfway lift, long flat spine. Exhale, crawl your fingertips to frame your back left foot, finding a direction change here. Arch your root down through the palms. Step that left foot back to meet your right knee, meet in plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, draw your chest forward and through, lift your gaze for up dog or cobra. Exhale, toes tuck as you contract through your core, send your hips up and back. Left side, inhale, reach your left leg high, flex your toes. Exhale, draw your left knee down the midline, arch through your spine, then step that left foot in between your hands. First, work to float the fingers, drawing your shoulder blades back in space. Then inhale as you rise, stacking shoulders and over your hips, biceps frame your ears, crescent line. Actively drawing left hip back, right hip forward, tuck your tail under, navel draws in. Exhale, send your left arm back behind you, right fingertips forward, open arm twist to the left. Gazes past that left hand, deep bend to your left knee. Inhale, slight shift forward, reaching with your right fingertip. Exhale as you drop your left arm down your right leg, right bicep meets your ear, finding a reverse revolved crescent lunge. Big inhale here. Exhale as you look forward, reaching with those right fingertips. Shift the weight into that left foot as you launch off your back right toes, finding flying warrior. Big inhale here, find balance. Exhale, look to kick that right foot out in front of you, stacking your shoulders over your hips. Left hand binds your right big toe, or maybe that right knee. Inhale as you find dancing Shiva, working to lift your gaze past your right hand. Exhale, release that bind, kicking the right foot back behind you. Left fingertips come for the upper left-hand corner of the mat. Inhale, work to stack shoulders and wrists. Maybe you lift your gaze past your right hand. Exhale, start to bring a bend to your left knee. Step your right toes back in space. Sink it nice and low, finding Buddha. Inhale, draw your tailbone under, 90-degree bend in both elbows and knees. And then start to straighten out through your legs, straighten out through your arms. Find star, take up space. Exhale, fold forward over straight legs, your bent knees. Hinging at your hips, letting your navel draw in. Taking a few breaths here, bending through your knees, shifting your weight. Maybe you find a basket grip at your low back, interlacing your fingers and then letting your arms splay away. Finding a shoulder opener. Then releasing whatever bind you may have, fingertips meet the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, long flat spine. Exhale, crawl your fingertips to frame that front right foot, pivot on your back left toes. Rooting down through the palm, step your right foot back to meet the left, find plank. Inhale, slight shift forward. Exhale, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale as you lift your gaze, chest comes forward and through. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift, finding that downward facing dog. Once again, taking this sun B 2 more times. Flowing through right and left sides. Taking your time, using your breath. And then knowing that whenever you're done, we'll meet on our sits bones, sending your legs out long in front of you, heels to the upper edge of the mat. Taking Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Inhale as you rise, biceps frame your ears. And then exhale, start to hinge your torso forward. Hands come long beside your legs. Maybe you wrap up for the bind, or maybe you just let them passively fall. Letting your chin come to your chest. Rounding through your spine. Releasing any tension, finding a hamstring stretch in your legs. Take 5 rounds of breath. And then start to slowly rise, stacking one vertebrae at a time. When your shoulders stack on top of your hips, interlacing your hands out in front of you. Inhale, slight shift forward. And then exhale as slow as you can. Start to lower onto your back. One vertebrae at a time. Neck and head last to release. When you've made it here, start to hug your knees in towards your chest, wrapping your arms around your shins. And then releasing that bind, knees stack on top of your hips, finding 390-degree bend in your hips, your knees and your ankles as you flex through your toes. Bring your arms to a goalpost. Take a big inhale here. And then exhale as you drop your knees over to the right, gazes past your left shoulder. Maybe you scooch that right hip underneath your left. Finding this easy supine twist. Taking a few rounds of breath here. Bringing out the spine. Then inhale, start to draw your knees back through the center. Then exhale as you slowly release your knees over to the left, gazes past your right shoulder. Maybe you scooch that left hip underneath your right to come a little bit deeper into the twist. Taking a few rounds of breath here. Then inhale, start to draw your knees back through the center. And ending practice just as we began, bringing the soles of the feet to touch, letting your knees splay out wide. One hand comes to your low belly and one hand comes to your heart. Again, feeling this breath and body connection. And then slowly staying here. Or maybe start to extend your right leg to the upper right hand corner of the mat, your left leg to the upper left. Arms come along beside you, palms facing up or palms facing down to stay grounded. Start to release all the muscles in your face, softening your shoulders and your abdomen, your legs, your toes, let them splay out nice and wide. Just being here. Releasing control of the breath. Shavasana.